Looking at the Markets with David Moadel. Welcome to Looking at the Markets with David Moadel. Inflation, gold, CPI, the Fed, these are all things that I'm concerned about, but I'm also able to potentially profit from because I love commodities and especially gold and gold miners right now. And I'll be speaking with an expert in the sector of gold, Mr. Nicholas Matysek, CEO, director, and co-founder of Snowline Gold. Welcome to Looking at the Markets, Mr. Matysek.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Well, thank you for coming on. Mr. Matysek, inflation, it's the hottest topic right now. It's what people are talking about. Lumber, iron ore, steel, copper, oil, wheat, these are all rallying to highs. And I think gold has the potential to go much, much higher like these other commodities can, and I believe will. What do you think the effect of hyperinflation will be on the gold price?
Well, I think we're entering an inflationary environment for sure. With all the stimulus money pumping into the U.S. economy, it's going to have far-ranging effects. I think all of the things you mentioned right off the top, I think it's just going to be more than transitory. As like all of the appreciation of lumber and all the other commodities, I think it might be here to stay, and I think it's going to move on to gold. There's more and more money chasing the same amount of goods, if not less. And I think I'm very bullish on gold in the medium and long term. Today's kind of a rough day, but I think the fundamentals are very strong.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned transitory. The Fed is trying to promote this narrative that inflation is just going to come and go, no big deal. Well, it is a big deal. But one thing that loves inflation is gold, and gold miners as well. Gold and silver, by the way, have risen quite a bit. In 2020, 40% of buying came from investors. What is it about gold in particular that the smart money sees as having real value as money?
Well, gold is like a physical asset for the most part that you can hold and someone can't take it away from you. It's got this incredibly long track record from prehistoric times up till now. People have valued gold because it's rare, it's physical, I don't know, it's real. There's so many other assets. Like you look at your trading accounts, and it's nice to think you have that money, but it can be gone in a blink of an eye. But knowing that you've had this incredible store of value, I think is really valuable for lots of investors. I have some physical gold and physical silver. I think it's part of a well-balanced portfolio.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think it belongs in all portfolios. We're talking about tangible metals, but also the mining shares as well. You can get some really nice leverage from that. And what I don't recommend is holding a lot of dollars for a very long period of time. De-dollarization is in effect, and there will be higher rates. The Federal Reserve signaled perhaps 2 rate hikes in a few years.
Yeah.
I think maybe even before that. I think it's going to be necessary to keep up with inflation. What are the implications of potentially seeing higher rates for Washington?
Well, I think it's going to hurt the valuations of a lot of listed companies, especially tech companies that value is based on future earnings so highly or so strongly. When you have those future cash flows at a higher discount rate, it really just doesn't look as good. So I think there's going to be pressure to keep it low, but with this inflation at 3+%, not really having a strong handle of where it's all coming from, where it's all going, I think you're going to end up with these higher rates. So obviously jittered gold a little bit, but I think it's going to be here to stay. I think also when you tech companies aside, for even individual investors, they're going to start feeling a little bit less rich when they see these valuations hurt. There's probably, like with all the stimulus money as well, there's probably going to be big tax increases. So it's about, I don't know, dealing with all these factors, and mining companies, explorers, ones with high leverage to the gold price, can be a bit of a hedge against all that uncertainty and all this sort of warning signs on the horizon.
Yeah, I like the way you described a hedge against uncertainty. But to me, inflation is a certainty, absolutely. But yeah, it's also a crisis hedge as well, which I believe you're referring to, absolutely. So I want to talk about Snowline Gold. And I mean, it has some big names involved as investors, as believers. Keith Neumeyer from First Majestic, Eric Sprott, one of the greatest resource sector investors in the world. What attracts, again, talking about the smart money, what attracts these names, along with Quentin Henai from Palisade Gold, Merchant Bank to Snowline? What is the story, first of all, the father and son story, and what attracts so many people to Snowline Gold?
Well, we have a great shareholder base, like with all those great names you mentioned. Keith Neumeyer, CEO of First Majestic, a pure silver miner. Like he was instrumental in putting this deal together. Remains a very committed and active shareholder, and we're thrilled to have his presence on the shareholder registry. And Eric Sprott's given us a lot of great visibility. But it's believing in the projects and believing in the technical team we have to be able to explore these projects effectively. They were privately staked by Ron and Scott Birdall over 20, 30 years. Scott, the son, is our COO. Like him, his father's involved. My father is Paul Matusik, he's involved in this as well. And it's these great projects that are in a public company for the first time. They'd had a lot of work done in the past to the tune of $20 million over a couple of field seasons, but it didn't have the right visibility to take that next step. But the smart money, as you mentioned, saw that potential and got behind it, and we're starting our exploration hopefully tonight.
Yeah. And for people who don't know, your father is Mr. Paul Matusek, who is legendary in the resource sector as well as a company builder, and you're following in the footsteps. And I think it's really great that the family is so involved in this exciting sector. If people want to learn more about Snowline Gold, please go to snowlinegold.com. I'll put a link in the description below this video. And if you want to look at the stock on the CSE exchange, it is SGD, ticker symbol, and on the OTC market in the United States and elsewhere, SNWGF. And I wanted to talk about, first of all, there's a fully funded 2021 drill exploration program going on right now, and there's an exciting update. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, we mobilized our rig to the site on Tuesday night. We're setting it up. Hopefully it starts spinning by the end of day today, and June 17th, if not early tomorrow morning. It's an exciting time. Like, we've had this great long structural turn, 3 kilometers by 500 meters. It's a large area. You can sort of trace it along. There's these great showings with huge quartz boulders, sampled up to almost an ounce per ton gold over this large area. Great soil sample results. But it'll be the first time we're drilling this section, this target, the Jupiter zone. And we're really excited about what we might be able to find. We're in a very prospective area. There's other multiple million-ounce mines in the Tintina Gold Province that we're on the eastern edge of, from Kinross's Fort Knox, Victoria Gold. So we're in the right area, seeing the right surface indications, and to finally starting tonight, a Snowline Gold with our drill campaign. It is a really exciting time for us.
Is this the Einarson Gold project we're referring to?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few targets at Einarson, Jupiter, Avalanche Creek, and Mars. We'll be drilling all of them this year, and then moving on to a rogue project, which has some fantastic surface results. I was at the project last week, did a great traverse down this side of the hill, starting this mineralization up to 152 grams per ton gold through this intrusion that grades to like 10 grams per ton. And you start to see these sort of high-grade rocks on the other sides of the valley and the creek bottoms. So you're seeing it over a large area, but it's going to be about really proving it out with the drill this year.
Fantastic. Also, not long ago, Snowline Gold expanded its property holdings in the Yukon's Selwyn Basin. So what were the new additions for that?
We had a lot of core projects when we launched in late February of this year, but we really believed in the potential those projects had, and we really wanted to consolidate those positions. It was tens of thousands of hectares, a little bit around each one, just to make sure we really had those targets locked down. We're looking at large scale, kilometer scale targets, and we wanted to make sure we could capture all of that and control our future that way.
Yeah, and by the way, it's not just about gold, even though the name of the company is Snowline Gold. I know that your company recently introduced a 100% owned gold, silver, and base metals project in the Yukon. What are the details on that you can tell us?
Yeah, that's the Ursa project. You have a silver base metals trend on one side of a ridge and then gold on the other, 14 and 9 kilometers respectively. Really high grade silver results throughout, up to sort of half an ounce per ton along that trend. Dr. Quentin Henney, one of our technical advisors, in addition to Ron Verdal and Paul Matisik, is very excited about the potential of this black shale hosted base metals target. Hopefully we can do some exciting work there this year. Mm-hmm. It's on a long trend with other base metals production farther south in McMillan Pass. Fireweed Zinc is doing some big work in the area. And it has the potential to be something really exciting, as some analogies to Rammelsburg in Germany, which is produced for hundreds of years and tens of millions of ounces, so hundreds of millions. So it has a lot of excitement, and hopefully be doing some major work there this year.
Sure. Would you describe this as a historically productive district as far as minerals is concerned?
Definitely for base metals. It's been a little bit underexplored for gold. A few years ago, Attack Resources made a big discovery early 2010, 2011, and they have a 1.7 million ounce carbonate hosted resource 10 kilometers away from where we are. So there is that potential in the area. There's some past silver production from the Plata mine, where there's an inactive winter road, so there's infrastructure in the area. But there's a lot of stuff to like about this area. It had been overlooked for gold, but with this large-scale regional surveys that had been done in the past that we're building upon, to the tune of 25,000 soil samples, 4,500 silt samples over an area the size of Luxembourg, we've winnowed it down to the most prospective areas, and we're hitting the ground running.
Yeah, to me, the Yukon is where it's at for minerals exploration and discovery, in my humble opinion. Is there anything else you'd like people to know about the company Snowline Gold right now?
Well, we got a great set of shareholders. We've got a great technical advisors, technical team. Our chairman is Dr. Craig Hart. He's a founding member of the Yukon Geological Survey and the head of the Mineral Deposit Research Unit at the University of British Columbia. It's like an academic industry body where majors and explorers like us come to better understand their deposits, to explore them effectively. So he's been a huge asset as we've designed our field program. So we believe have potential to sort of really prove out the surface results. We're working constructively with the First Nations in whose traditional territory we operate. And we're funded for this season. We're starting our drilling hopefully tonight or tomorrow. And there'll be a lot of catalysts over the summer where we start to release these results from drilling and from other geological investigations like geophysics and soil sampling and mapping. We think there's potential to be onto something really big here. And the train is about leaving the station right now. It's where the drill starts to spin. So this is a great time before there could be a huge run on it.
I like the way you said that. The train is leaving the station. It really is. This is a super cycle in gold, silver, and other commodities, I believe. The website is snowlinegold.com. Check out the link in the description below this video. SGD is the stock ticker on the CSE exchange. SNWGF on the OTC Markets Exchange. Mr. Nicholas Matisek, a legendary family, quite a pedigree there in the resource sector, and it's an honor to have you on the program. We'll have to have you back soon for an update. Appreciate it today, sir.
Thank you very much.